Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something that might surprise you. You know, when we think about what makes someone successful, we usually think of things like IQ or where they came from. But what if the biggest factor is actually their mindset? Let's get into how a simple shift in your thinking can totally change the game.
Okay, let's start with this quote right here because it's pretty powerful. It says, the biggest difference between success and failure isn't about how smart you are, it's this thinking gap. It's not about brain power, it's about thinking with a little more wisdom, a little more intention.
And this really gets to the core of it. This thinking gap, it's not something you're born with. It's a mindset you can actually learn and develop. You know, when you start thinking wisely, it creates this awesome feedback loop that leads to a better, more fulfilled life. But the flip side is true too. Unproductive thinking? It just sends you spinning in the wrong direction. It really all starts with what's going on in your head.
So, let's dig into our first main idea here, really understanding this great thinking gap and how it pretty much affects everything we do, from our tiny daily actions to our biggest long-term goals.
You know, this right here is a trap we all fall into, right? We're either stuck thinking about all the stuff that went wrong yesterday, or we're daydreaming about this amazing future that's just around the corner. And in the process, we completely miss the power of what we can do right now, today.
And that leads to a really important question. I mean, think about it. The past is over. The future? Who knows if it'll even happen? The only thing you actually have, the only thing you can control is this very moment. So the real question is, what are you doing with your now? How are you using it to build the future you actually want?
Okay, so if that's the problem, what's the solution? How do we actually put this into practice? Well, our next section is all about that. It's about mastering your now and learning to focus all your energy on this present moment.
This is what really sets great leaders apart. You know, they aren't constantly distracted by their phones or a million other things. They are fully 100% present. And that ability allows them to squeeze every last drop of value out of whatever moment they're in.
And here's the thing you got to remember. Every single thing you do today is like laying a brick for tomorrow. You're not just getting through the day. No, you are actively building the foundation for all your future success, one action at a time.
All right, let's get into what might just be the most counterintuitive and honestly, the most powerful secret to actually getting things done.
We have this whole motivation thing completely backward. We think we need to wait for some magical feeling, some lightning bolt of inspiration before we can start working. But that's a total trap. The most successful people get it. Motivation isn't the cause of action, it's the byproduct. You don't wait for it to show up, you get to work and you create it. And here's how it works. It's actually a super simple 4-step process. First, you just start, even if you don't feel like it. Then, as you start taking action, something amazing happens. Motivation finally decides to show up. That little bit of action makes you feel good. It creates momentum. And before you know it, you're thinking, wow, I'm so glad I didn't just sit around waiting for inspiration.
And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? It's one thing to know what we should be doing. We can all make lists and set goals. But what's the point if we don't act on them? Knowledge is pretty useless without action. The real gap, the one we all have to cross, is the one between knowing something and actually doing it.
Okay, so if action is the secret sauce, how do we make it consistent? How do we keep going when that first spark fades away? Well, that brings us right to our next section, building habits for what's always going to be an uphill climb.
So what's the magic number? Well, the source material points to this, 30. It takes about 30 days of doing something consistently to turn it into a new habit. That's it. Just 1 month to basically rewire your brain for success.
And this is why habits are such a game changer. A good habit basically puts your success on autopilot. You stop wasting all that mental energy and willpower trying to decide to do the right thing. You just do it. It's automatic. And eventually, after you do it long enough, it stops being something you do and starts being a part of who you are. Now, here's a hard truth we all have to face. Anything you truly want in life, anything of real value, is going to be an uphill climb.
Think about it. You've never heard someone say they accidentally climbed Mount Everest, right? Well, it's the same with any great success. It doesn't happen by chance. It is always intentional.
There are no shortcuts, no magic buttons, no elevator to the top.
In the end, it all comes down to one simple thing: effort. The only way you get up that mountain is through your own consistent, deliberate, hard work. There's just no other way.
And this quote really sums up everything we've talked about today. Inspiration is fantastic, but on its own, it's pretty useless. It needs perspiration. Ideas are great, but they're nothing without execution. The way you close that thinking gap, you do the hard work.
So I'll leave you with this final question to think about. What is that one thing you've been putting off, just waiting for the perfect moment or for inspiration to strike? My advice? Stop waiting. Just choose something, roll up your sleeves, and start. You might be shocked at how quickly that inspiration finds you once you're already moving. Thanks for joining me.